Hi, I wanted to do something a little bit shorter and something a little less traditional for this week for a video, and so I decided I would hop on and I would talk a little bit about my top tips for swimming butterfly. My qualifications are that I swam a lot of butterfly as a younger kid, and I swam butterfly at some of the top international competitions I attended. So I wanted to share that with you because I think a lot of people get really scared of swimming butterfly, and it's definitely very, very challenging. And it is somewhat pretty technical. I would argue it's not as technical as breaststroke is, but it can be really challenging for a lot of people. So I wanted to give you some tips on how to improve at it. So one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people struggle with in butterfly is proper mechanics of the body. And so when you swim butterfly, you don't swim it flat. You don't really swim any stroke flat, whether you're swimming backstroke or freestyle, and it's that side to side rotation. That is some form of rotation. You don't want to swim flat. Butterfly is a little bit different, where you want to swim with an undulation, so pressing up and down. So you really want to press your chest down when you swim butterfly, and a lot of great butterfly drills focus on that chest press down. So you kind of press down through the chest, and your butt as a result will kind of pop up. So it's this up and down motion that really will get you moving. So if you aren't comfortable doing that, that would be my number one tip, my number one place to start, is making sure that you know how to do that undulation with your kick and butterfly, and just about everything else will follow if you can get that undulation correct. If you're really struggling with that, some of the things I would recommend is working on flexibility through your spine. So you can do that through stretching. You can do that through working on the technique and really isolating it. One of my favorite drills to do, I call it eye to Y drill, and it's basically where your arms are above your head and you sweep your arms out and you think about pressing your chest down in the water. You'll get a little bit of a natural kick with this, which is really nice. So that would be my number one tip, and number one place to start is work on your kick and undulation in butterfly. My next tip would be working on the timing of the arms. This is really, really challenging. I teach swim lessons and I teach a pre-competitive team, and this is the part where I see them struggle the most. So your arms should be coming down as you kind of do that chest press down. So the way that you want it all timed out, you want your butt to be down and your back to be higher up when you do your kick, so that you're timing all of this correctly. And you want to be able to time the breath with it, which is extra complicated. So if you're really uncomfortable with butterfly, what I would do is I would practice kicking, and don't do the over the water recovery with the arms, because that is really, really challenging. And if your timing is all off, then you're just going to be reiterating bad technique, and you're not going to see a lot of progress, which can feel really frustrating. So I would work on kicking and practicing that first kick, arms pull down, second kick, arms come up. First kick, arms pull down, second kick, arms come up. And so I just sneak the arms back up under the body. That way you don't have to do that over the water motion, which a lot of people really struggle with. So that would be my second tip for butterfly, is just really practice timing the kicking and how like you should be pulling your arms. The third tip I would have is practicing the breathing. Breathing's really, really challenging in butterfly. And there's a reason why Michael Phelps was like one of the very few people in the world who breathes on every stroke. So I would do that same drill, pulling down and then sneaking the arms back up. I would do that, but I would work on breathing. So as you pull your arms down, taking a breath, and as the arms come back up and sneak past, tucking that chin back down. Your head, one of my coaches said this to me when I was younger, and this like made a lot of sense to me. Your head is like the same weight, size, everything as a bowling ball. So a bowling ball is like 10 pounds, and that's 10 pounds that you can throw back towards the direction you want to go in. So what I would do is I would practice making sure that when you bring your face back down, you're not just bringing it down, but you're thinking like about actively moving forward. And that movement forward is going to make so much of a difference because you are conserving energy and you are swimming more efficiently. Generally, I think one of the most important things, and this isn't really a tip, but maybe just some general advice if you're learning butterfly or you are working on improving at it. I love vertical kick for butterfly. It's a really good way to practice kicking behind you and in front of you. So kicking behind and in front, like that is really important, and that's going to give you like killer dolphin kicks too, which is really important off of your walls. So any kind of work like that, really working on that spinal mobility. You don't want it to be flexible with no strength, but it is really important that you're able to move your spine a lot more in butterfly. One of the things I see a lot of people who struggle with butterfly with is they have like that lack of like spinal mobility. And if you can't move your body like that forward and backward, you're gonna need to work on that in order to get the kick going and get that undulation going. Generally, a lot of the muscles that are really helpful for like getting stronger butterfly is like everything in the back. Scap pull-ups and scap push-ups would be really, really helpful. Practicing activating your scapula too is really important. I'm gonna turn around to kind of give you a demonstration. So your scaps are back here and behind your shoulder blade. So practicing that movement back is really helpful for getting the arms up and over the water, which is probably one of the more challenging aspects of butterfly. So anytime you can practice that in butterfly would be helpful. Starting out with shorter distances would always be my recommendation if you're trying to do like a technique overhaul. Right now I'm working on a technique overhaul for my freestyle. I tend to under rotate to one side. And when I'm working on technical stuff, I'll choose like a day to really work my technique. What I try to do is short distances and doing it properly. And if I catch myself on one of these technique days where I'm not necessarily out of practice, really struggling with this, then I stop and I reset and I figure out what I need to do differently. A general tip for any stroke that you're trying to overhaul your technique and really see improvements, if you can get somebody to film, that's wonderful. I have had like family members, I've like dragged them to the pool to help me film some video just to better understand what's going on, especially like if you maybe don't have a coach. This can be a really helpful way to get some video and look at what you're doing and see where you can improve, because sometimes things are exaggerated in the water And one of the things that I always ask my swimmers is I ask them like how different changes we've made in their technique, like how it felt. And a lot of times they'll tell me that it felt like super drastic, like they recently working on, like, let's say crossing over. They were still crossing over, but it was like slightly less, and they told me that it felt like this huge like movement to the side. They felt like they were pulling like out here, and I'm like, well, you're pulling more like in towards here. So understanding it through like seeing it makes so much of a difference, especially if you're really like a visual learner. Understanding how your body's moving can be really helpful, especially in butterfly, because sometimes we can not realize that when our arms are entering, they're like bent like this. So seeing that they're like this and not straight or closer to straight, that can be really helpful for understanding how we should move forward and what we should be adjusting. So my main 3 tips, to go over it just one more time, is the first and best place to start is always your undulation and your kick. So understanding that chest goes down, butt comes up, butt comes down, chest comes up. So it's that up and down, like sine, cosine type of motion. So get that down, be comfortable with it. And then from there, you can work on timing. Timing is another big aspect of it. And then my final tip is to, in that timing, once you're comfortable with the timing of arms come down, first kick, arms come up, second kick, first kick, second kick. Once you're comfortable with that, add the breathing in. So bring your head up, first kick, take a breath, second kick. So working on undulation first, then timing, and then breathing. And then from there you can start to work on things like the arms. But a lot of that will come really naturally if you work first on those main 3 things. So undulation, kick, timing, breathing. If you would like me to talk about a little more like advanced, so maybe you've got the undulation down and the timing, but you need some work with your arms, or if you want me to do any of the other 3 strokes, I am happy to do that. I will say I can give advice on backstroke and breaststroke, but I'm not very strong in either of them. If you'd like to hear about my technique overhaul for freestyle right now, I'm also happy to talk about that. It's an ongoing journey, so hopefully I am heading in the right direction. But yeah, it's been really great to kind of talk about this. I love butterfly, and I really wish more people loved it, but I kind of understand why a lot of people don't like it, and I hope that maybe this can help you even if you're never ever going to be a butterflyer in your entire life. It can maybe help you to feel a little more confident in the pool swimming it. So good luck, and comment below if this was helpful at all, and if you have any tips or tricks for getting better at butterfly as well, because, you know, rising tides lift all boats. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.